I'm rowing, nice and smooth, and one time while I'm rowing, I move forward, and then I come back and I hear snap in my back, and I'm like.
Welcome to the Playbook, where we discuss interesting topics in an entertaining way. I'm your host, Lion, and as always, I'm joined by my main man, the enforcer of the Playbook, Mystery,
What up? What up?
and our special agent in charge, the most interesting man in the world, Doc Smith. How are you fellas doing today?
Doing awesome. How about you, Lion?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Mystery, let them know what we're talking about today.
Okay, today we're talking about work and life balance and also balancing your passions. How do those mix in today's world?
And we're not doing that alone, because Doc is going to let you guys know who we have here today.
So today we have Kayla with us today, and we're glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your life, and so people can know a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into our
My
topic.
hitting life, besides the dancing part, huh?
Yeah, that too. You can tell us about the dancing part as well, though, because we want to know about that too. But yeah, because I know there's a lot of there's just all kind of mysterious stuff behind the scenes I didn't know about.
Well, first of all, thank you all for having me here.
Thanks for being here.
Let's see. I come from Puerto Rico. I've been in Tampa, let's say, almost 9 years now.
Morena.
Hey.
There you go.
And the first, my main purpose to come here, it was to pursue my passion, my passion for dancing. Right now, currently, I am working in the post office. But just because this is out of respect to all of my colleagues in the dancing scene, I was looking to have something a little bit more stable. So that's why I went through having a career in the post office. And I would say that's my main income, my main source of income. Yeah. But I didn't want to leave aside my passion, which is dancing. So I also work in an entertainment company. I still teach, still perform. I am also a realtor.
Okay.
And if you want to get married, you can call me. I can get you married too.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So let me see if I have enough fingers to count. So you work at the post office.
Yes.
Check that. She's a dance teacher. Check that. She's a performer because she works for an event company, the entertainment company.
Yes.
So check that as well. She can get you married. So check that. What else do we say?
And I can also get you a house.
And she can get you a house.
There
So
it is.
check this out. This is what she can do for you. This whole package. So you can go ahead and call 1-800-Kayla, and she can go ahead and get you
Yeah.
married, sell you the house where you're gonna live. She's also gonna be entertainment for your wedding. One-stop shop, and she's gonna mail the invitations for you too. So check that out.
That's
One-stop
exactly
shop.
how
There
I
you
see
go.
it. Like, whomever's thinking about getting married, call me.
And it's great to have you for this particular topic because you do a lot. You do quite a bit, as we just listed. And the question goes, how do you balance it all? Because this is something that a lot of people wonder. We have, just to go over to some statistics, 60% of employees believe that it's good to have a good work-life balance. 77% of employees have experienced burnout at least once in their current jobs. So that's huge, right? And 72% of workers believe work-life balance is a very important factor of choosing a job. We all know, we all been there. How do you balance it all?
Well, I think a huge thing for me, it's going to be just planning myself. I would say, let's say Sundays. On Sundays, I need to plan my whole week. And if I always carry with me like my agenda, I need to, and I know we have the phones and everything. I just work best with having the physical thing, like my agenda and myself, like writing everything. I guess it works for me best to remember it. But even the whole month, if I'm able to plan my whole month ahead of time, that helps a lot. Why? Because let's say, for example, in my realtor side, I know that I'm always in the week. I'm always gonna have to meet my team lead twice a week. On Sundays, I try to prepare like 4 open houses a month. So that usually goes on a Sunday. Why? Because it's my day off. I just try to put it on my agenda. The entertainment side of it, that's not something that I have every day. Let's say like that. My company calls me, tells me, hey, can you do this gig this day? Yes, I can. Can you do this gig the other day? No. So that's how I know ahead of time. And they always tell me, let's say a month or 2, even 3 months ahead of time. They try to look their dancers or their performers. So I try to plan myself ahead as much as I can for me to be able to just
Find those spaces where you can kind of fit it all in, or
yeah. But the word that I'm looking for is to delivered, right? Because if you say you have your word, and if you say I'm gonna be there, that's super important for me. You need to be there.
you gotta come through for your people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my word for me, if I tell you that's gonna happen, that's gonna happen. If it didn't happen, it's because I'm very sick, something really bad it's going on, that is super important. So planning myself ahead of time, it's the other thing that helps. It's my schedule. My priority, it's my main source of income. That's my my job.
Yeah.
But I tried so hard, and I think I made it when I started in the post office to have a super early shift.
Yep.
So I start at 5 in the morning. I end at 2. And
Super early.
Like you're,
Super
in the,
early.
like you're in the army.
And I have the
Yeah.
rest of the day.
I'm just going to bed at that time.
You should. I feel like if you start your day early, you're gonna have time to do everything. I start at 5 to 2. That's my shift, and after that, I have the whole afternoon to do whatever I want.
So if I wake up at 11 a.m., you think I couldn't do it? I'm kidding.
I mean,
We
I wake up early. I wake up early. Depends on what part of the world you're in.
exactly.
Like 11 a.m. is somebody else's 7 a.m. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm right there with Kayla because I do wake up early as well, and I definitely share that same thought that waking up early allows you to. I tell people I had one of my kids from AAU. He's studying stuff and
Coaching.
yeah, and so he's like, well, where do you find time? And it's at 4 a.m. Wake up at 4 a.m. You start doing your work. Nobody will call you at 4 a.m. Nobody's going to knock on your door at 4 a.m. Nobody's going to do anything at 4 a.m. So this perfect time to get work done, and you sort of get into the groove around about 5:36. You get into the groove and super productive before the day even starts, before people even wake up. That's a good time to get things done. So
Being the old guy in the group, even though I'm not old, no, you guys, we're talking about work-life balance. The first tattoo I ever got was a yin and yang. It was about martial arts when I got it, but it was symbolic of balance in martial arts, hard and soft styles. But ultimately, it became more important even in my 20s as like one of my life's mantras, which was about balance. That's what we're talking about, work-life balance. But like everything we do is about achieving balance in what we do day to day. My focus was to grind as hard as I could, and I always did that. You're talking about dancing. Like shout out to Shaka Brown in DC, who originated the Capitol Congress, and my old dance company Clavikazi. I started dancing with those guys. But when I was doing that, I was actually on a detail running security for the Secretary of Defense. Shaka was nice enough to work with me so I could teach and perform with him, allowing me to stay engaged or connected to my creative side as well, but still work my job. I work out 6 days a week, but I would work out. I was working. There was a time where I had a part-time job when I was in the military on top of working, and I went to school and did my master's degree while I was working full time, and I did my PhD the same thing while I was working full time because I managed my time. And I don't sleep a lot. I sleep more now, but it's like you said, you maximize your time and your energy to be able to get these things done. My thought process was, and this will come full circle as we talk about this subject matter, to grind as hard as I could when I was younger, and I knew I had the energy. Because like now I'm basically retired. You know what I mean? I'm writing a couple of books, but I'm basically retired.
Be on the lookout for that.
That's right. It's going to be, one's a fiction, it's going to be cool, and then one's an autobiography. So two big things. You have to think about your health, prioritizing your health in this whole thing. Because if you don't have your health, nothing else matters. Right.
Exactly.
So I think when we're talking about the work-life balance, I think that the first thing you have to do is think about your health. In spite of the grind, you have to find that balance between being able to work as hard as you want to achieve what you want, but still be able to be healthy. You know what I mean? So when you're thinking about your grind, do you take your health into consideration?
I'll be super honest with you. I had a time, and I would say this was a few months ago, where I always had to do my exercise at least 3 times a week. Right now, because I have so much going on, I would say maybe I'll take my dancing as my cardio side of it. And I think it comes handy, the fact that one of my jobs is dancing, because you actually do some cardio there, and that helps you. But the truth is that I feel like you have to take your time to, like you said, go to the gym. Even not in the gym, even your little exercises.
Right, you don't
right
have to be
home.
in a gym. You could just,
Right at home. That I shouldn't, that's great for me, but I should take a little bit more time to take care of my, let's say, my exercises. At least I try to eat well.
Now, fellas, I don't know, people are always mistaking you for a professional athlete, but at this juncture in your life, are you kind of trying to incorporate some wellness stuff in there as well?
Yeah, age catches up with you. When you're younger, there's less things you have to worry about.
That's true.
And
Run fast, like me.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, the things that I used to do don't work anymore. I'm gaining weight, and it's like, God damn it. So I really had to do a lot of searching, a lot of research, and a lot of trying different things or whatever. So before, I never really had to adjust my diet at all. And now I still gain muscle, but losing weight was a little bit more difficult, even if I was playing basketball. And it was difficult because of impact. So running hurts the joints, and you end up paying for it 2-3 days down the road. Well, for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. So my friend, he told me, hop on the elliptical and do rowing, right? And also do the stepper as well, because that thing is hard. No matter what.
Those are the go-to.
Yeah. No matter what. I'll tell you this. Here's a funny story though, because I got into the groove. Everything was going right. I was like on my 3rd week, and so each week you increase the goals for each exercise. And my routine was stepper, rower, and then elliptical, right? And so I hopped off the stepper, and I went to the row machine, and I upped my normal goal, and I knew it was a lot, so I said, take it easy. It's a marathon. You got time.
Talking about time, you upped your goal in time or difficulty?
Distance.
Okay.
Yeah, I upped my goal in distance,
okay.
Right? So I'm rowing nice and smooth, and one time while I'm rowing, I move forward, and then I come back, and I hear snap in my back, and I'm like, nah, fight through the pain. Hey, don't let this stop you. Hit the goal. And I'm like, and I'm like, no, I'm done. That was it. So
Lion said, better stop. Hey, now I would tell you what Lion said. You better stop. But like, if you'd asked me 20 years ago.
20 years ago, you just go through it.
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Exactly.
Drive on.
Yeah.
All right.
But when you can't walk for 3 days.
20 years later, I came to collect.
Right. Now, what about you, Lion? Do you think you incorporate a little bit of a what are you doing for your health and wellness at this point in your life?
So not very much. I can't get in. So actually, the last few years, I went through some health struggles. So I gained a little bit of weight, in the right places, and recently reminded, what, you have to take care of yourself. It starts with your diet, eating the right things, keeping your calorie intake into account.
Always.
Exercising. I never been big in going to the gym. Listen, look at me. I never been big at going to the gym. I love dancing, and that's something that's been very passionate about. So I would I had the pleasure. She's been a mentor of mine for dancing. She's taught me. She's led me in a team, and we perform on stage together, which I'm very grateful to. I remember those practices. They were rough because Kayla, let's do the stretches. Let's do this exercise. I'm like, man, I didn't sign up for this stuff. And that was rough.
Want my money
I
back?
thought it was just dancing. Nope.
Nope. She's like, let's train to do a split. I'm like, oh, man, like, I just don't work that way. You see the way I'm set up.
Kayla, shout out to you for getting us.
And this is all before we even started choreo for the day. Like, it was.
I know.
Like, we're getting tortured before we started choreo.
I like it.
It was great time.
I like
Look back at that very fondly. And, lately I'm reminded, you know what, you got to get on it and started something as simple as running or jogging every day, doing some push-ups, some planks, doing some dumbbells, sign up for a gym, and just start just creating that consistency, that habit. It's like being sick and having to take your medicine even when you don't want to. That's the way I look at it. Like, I mean, don't want to take that Robitussin when I'm really sick, but you just got to do it because it's going to benefit you later on down the line. Some people enjoy it, and some people love it. For me, it's something that I guess my mind goes to a different place. Like, I'd rather be doing something else. But you realize that, if you want to be good later on, to be like Doc. We're slightly younger than Doc. And Doc is one of the most energetic people you will meet. You see Doc on the dance floor.
Shame.
He'll outdance anyone on the dance floor. Like, he'll outdance. This man be doing spins.
No energy drinks, no nothing. Just killing it.
He just goes. I
Energizing
don't think I even
bunny.
seen him drink alcohol. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Doc just goes. And, like, if you want to get to that point, these are the steps you need to take to be better later on. So that's the way I look at it, man.
It's true. It's good that you say that. And I mean, thank you. I appreciate the recognition of the hard work I'm putting in, because it's funny how I've always been really fitness oriented or whatever and stay in shape. But as you get older, like I can, when we talk, we're gonna have an episode. Stay tuned for that one about health and stuff like that. We'll have somebody on here as an expert, and we'll talk about some more details specific to like health, the actually health and wellness piece of this. But like it's like you said, like it's funny because I was always like a freaking superhero running 4.5 minute miles, doing 150 push-ups in 2 minutes. And
4.5 minutes. Run that back, though.
My 45
4.5 minutes. I was doing a 4.5 minute mile in high school. 4.5 minutes is long gone nowadays. 4.5 minutes. Most people don't do it in 12, right? The average is about 9. That's the acceptable time for people that don't do it that often. He was doing 4.5.
Lies.
Crazy.
I do my 45-minute mile. That's how I do it. So that's acceptable.
Hey, but you're doing exercise for 45.
That's what I was gonna say. Regardless of you're moving.
Okay.
That's right.
I don't take 45 minutes. I take much less. I swear to you, I take much less.
30.
Nowadays,
It's not 9 minutes though.
The life that we live is so fast, and we have to do like a bunch of things, and we don't realize how ourselves were not. I'm not sure if harming ourselves is the right word.
Yeah, hurting ourselves.
Hurting, right? So just because we don't take 45 minutes to go a mile, whatever you do, it helps. So yes.
Three times. I think it's the American Heart Association recommends 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week for everybody. You know what I mean? So that's now something else. And like I said, we'll talk about this more in a health episode. But this is something because you're getting older now, E.
Oh my gosh.
You're still young.
Don't
You're still
remind
young
me,
enough
man.
to be my son almost, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if we do
You're
the
starting
math.
younger.
Yeah, just
It's
exactly for
It's
sure.
physically possible.
You for sure could be my son. So, but there's something I learned about cardio being some. I like to do cardio and lift.
Right.
Nice mugs. What is that? Is that the play?
Peep the mug.
What? Hold up.
The Playbook mug. Just
Let me get my pinky right. Hold on.
let us know if you guys want some. Let us know. We'll ship them to you. We'll work out a deal.
That's a good looking mug. E did it. Shout out to E for putting the mug situation together.
Of course, man.
But yeah, so when you get older, besides the other things that start slowing down because I had to make adjustments or figured out, okay, I thought I was going to be able to keep working out 4 days a week and maintain, but all of a sudden now I had to cut 200 more calories or I had to add an extra 15 or 30 minutes of cardio. But something else that I'd learned about having a wife that's a physician and other people, friends involved in functional medicine, is that as you get older, the cardio that's good for your heart, as is important for us, can also lower your testosterone level by doing too much cardio.
Okay.
And I did not know that.
That's why I do no cardio.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I'm full of testosterone.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Just like
brimming with it.
what they say, piss and vinegar or whatever. How do old people say it? Yeah.
No,
So yeah.
So you so we talk about the importance of staying healthy. Let me ask you this, because I experienced this in my life, and not too long ago. Do you ever feel yourself you're getting burned out
Yes.
doing so much?
I didn't even let you finish.
She was like, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I do. But let's see. One thing that I was wanting to say earlier, and I'm glad that you brought that up. It's that you need to prioritize. For example, when I first got here, dancing was the thing that I wanted to pursue. After I had all these changes in my life, and I took the decision that I wanted to have like a stable job and everything, but I also didn't want to leave aside what I was passionate about. Why? Because I think it's important. If you take that decision, yes, a lot of having a job because it's your stability thing, great, that's good for you. But a lot of people feel so miserable because they don't have something that drives them. Exactly. So I didn't want to be that miserable person, you know. That's
Right.
why I was like, okay, that's good. I took the decision, and I think it's a great thing for me, but I need to do something else that it's more me, you know. So that's why I was like, I'm going to do the entertainment thing. I'm going to do the realtor thing, but it's also things that brings more income to me. So that's the decision that I took. Now, the decision that I also took was I'm not going to party anymore. Or if I do, it's going to be
in moderation, yeah.
Yes. Because before, I was out every freaking weekend.
Yeah, you know, because I don't go out a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, dance and salsa a little bit. A little something. You know, I'm always going.
Everywhere I show up, I remember going to a house party. Like I'm showing up to this house party. See this very nice car. It's a really nice Jag. Shout out to the Jag. And I seen that car before. Shout out to this is a house party. No idea. This dog dancing. I'm like, what's happening here?
His face everywhere. I'm not
He's
sure. I don't know what he's
he's a
talking about.
Yeah.
living life to the fullest.
So here's a good question. How many hours a week is too much? Like if I'm working 50 hours a week on a consistent basis, say probably like 2 or 3 months, is that too much where you have to talk to the employer and be like, hey, you need to change my schedule, something needs to change here, or is that cool? Or if it's cool, 60 hours a week, what is the breaking point?
It's individual.
Depends how broke you are.
Well, it depends on your job too. Okay, so
And like whenever
How hungry
you're
you are.
in a job, I think sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But me going into the post office at the beginning, I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of hours.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that usually the employer tells you ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as yourself, decide if you want to do that or if you're going ahead to, you know, look for another job that, I don't know. But I think the employer should give you a heads up. Hey, this is how many hours do we do? 60, 50. Are you up to doing this? Yes, no. If you can't, then this is not the place for you, for example.
right, like she said, the employer can dictate that, but also your job. What did you do? You know what I mean? Because like we talked about being passionate about your job.
Right.
IT, first degree was in IT, but then I went on to become a special agent. I loved being a special agent, especially doing executive protection.
Right.
But during that time period, it was not uncommon on a mission for us to work 60 or 70 hours in a week.
Mm-hmm.
But I was passionate about my job. I had the energy and I loved it, so it didn't feel like work.
Right.
I know friends that start their own businesses, and people think, oh, it's cool when you're making a lot of
No,
money,
you're
your own
doing a
money,
lot of
whatever.
work.
It's going to be a lot more work than working for somebody who
At the
says
beginning, yeah.
40 hours a week is what you work here. Anything beyond that is overtime. You may work 50 hours a week with overtime.
Mm-hmm.
That's set, like she said. But
How are you balancing it out? Because I got an example, but how are you balancing that out if you're doing 50 or 60 hours a week and you have to sleep? And how are you balancing that out with family and just sanity?
no, okay, for me, martial arts, a lot of meditation,
Mm-hmm.
my spiritual, emotional wellness, surrounding myself with positive people that only bring.
That
It's
helps
always
a
nice
lot.
when someone like I just at this event this last weekend where somebody was like, "Hey, you're always in such a you bring such a positive like light energy with you," and I'm like, I appreciate that. It's not it's just how I roll. You know what I mean? But like I don't have negativity in my space, and that makes a big difference where you can control it. You work with people who are assholes, you can't get rid of them. Well, you can, but that's a different episode as well. But seriously,
As a special
That's a
agent,
spa-
as a
Patreon.
special agent, dog. That's
that's a different
different story.
I had a special set of skills, and we could but so it just kind of comes down to the fact that like I was working when I did my master's degree, I was working between 50 and 60 hours a week on a drug team, running a drug team in El Paso, Texas, and I was going. It was before the internet, so I was going sitting in class working on my degree to finish my degree because there were no online classes and spending time. I don't have kids, but spending time with my wife and spending time with my friends and working out. So I guess I just didn't sleep a lot. I slept enough to be healthy, but again, it's individual because that's my personality. I loved my job. My goal was to, like I said, like I did. I'm retired now early because I grinded hard my whole life. You know what I mean? So I could be here writing books and kicking it with you guys.
And I'm on the other side of the coin because there was a specific situation where when I was working for AAA and we were doing a move into a new building, we got all new equipment and we had to install it. You're talking about 700 people, blah, blah, blah. I was putting in like 60 hours a week and doing IT and fixing issues before they moved in and even after they moved in. And it got to be a lot. It got to be too much. It's like, so there was a breaking point. I was stressed and not loving the job as much because of the long hours, right? So
I was gonna say, I think sorry to interrupt. I think it's a big difference when you're passionate about your job. Like for example, we talk about you're passionate about dancing. I think all of us here are. 60 hours doing dancing, right? Teaching, performing feels much less than 60 hours of any other job.
You will be happy.
100%.
I mean, tired, but happy.
Right.
I remember those days. Like the time that we, I was in the team with you. I was also on another team, but I was also working and studying. I'm doing a lot, and then our practice sessions were like at 10 p.m. at night, and I'm doing this 2 or 3 times a week between the different teams. Plus, then when you have your weekends, you have to perform or whatever. You're putting in more time, and that part of the night, easy work. Everything else, waking up in the morning and just knowing you're going to your job, and the difference is so big that you feel excited to get out of work, to be ready to do something you're passionate about.
Right.
And you're not as passionate something that's being the main source of income for you.
Yeah. Right.
So that's huge.
That happens to me all the time. Like I'm tired. My students, I walk in the studio, my eyes are over here. I'm walking super slow. I'm tired. But once I start, the energy comes. I don't know from where. And I'm like, yes, go, let's 5, 6, 6, 7, move. Left and right, up and like, they're like, how is it that you come so like down when you walk into this place and you're like fired up? As soon as you play the music, I'm like, I don't know. That's just because it's my passion talking. I don't know. It's something that I cannot explain.
Well, yeah, that's what people don't get about dance.
I lose the tiredness like this.
It's your passion, but there's something magical. I think there's it's not like coincidental or with all the things I've had an opportunity to do in my life. The one constant has always been dance. You know what I mean? I started dancing salsa, I don't know, 26, 28 years ago. I don't know, something like that. But before that, I was into hip hop, and like I've danced my whole life. But I think there's something special and magical about dance and music and your connection to the music that if you have that, it's like intangible. Like it's definitely my therapy. I taught a salsa class when I was deployed in Iraq during the war, and it probably helped me maintain my sanity while people were in the middle of people getting blown up and shot.
And besides the music and the dancing, for me, teaching itself, I don't know, it feels I feel such a joy. Just because of what he's saying right now. You don't know what whomever it's going, like the person that's there, you don't know what's happening in their life. It could be something, it could be happiness, it could be, I don't know, how a student that went through a back surgery and she didn't know she was gonna walk again. And she just being there was her the main thing of her day, just coming in and
some people, yeah.
because she loved dancing and she didn't know if she was gonna ever dance again. So she being there and being able to just do the basic step back and forth, that was a huge thing for her, and it was a huge thing for me too. You don't know what people it's going through, and you being the person in the middle that it's guiding the class and just making other people feel that joy too. I just love that. So yep. So it's music, dancing, but it's also what you can do for somebody else.
I think that's key for the work and life balance, is that finding something that you are passionate about. Because let's keep it real and let's face it, most people, I just don't want to say America, but in a lot of parts of the world as well, they're not doing something that they're passionate about, or they have not found something they're passionate about. I know it took me years, like, to find something that I felt, man, like, I'm passionate about doing this stuff. I'm passionate about dancing, and it took me. I always wanted to record or do video, but you never. That's something that you don't really do with somebody with my background, and eventually you start doing this stuff, and you're like, man, there's another world outside of just the grind of every day going to work 9 to 5, and you get paid well and you do things, and eventually that wears off. But when you're doing something that you truly love, that affects where the work-life balance fits. You don't really, it doesn't affect you as much, I would say.
Now, let me ask you guys something about, let me ask everybody this. There's something I heard about. Have you heard the term quiet quitting?
Yeah.
Okay, so I bring this up because I've always believed in working as hard as you need to work to get the job done, to feed your family, to put roof over your head, food on the table, right? You want to explain what it is, E?
Oh, so quiet quitting is basically you work, but you do as little as you can not to get fired and collect a paycheck. That's it. Your body's there, but mentally you're checked out.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we both.
Oh, that's funny.
You
gotta bring that one up.
You want to tell us?
I'll tell the story.
I feel like there's this story.
I'll tell the story.
We're both in the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So you
gotta tell it good, because no Cordell is gonna get on you. Shout out to Cordell.
Yeah, so perfect example of quiet quitting. We literally.
Don't say the name of the company.
Yeah, I won't say. Yeah. I worked at a phone company, and we both did. We did wireless sales, and I was going to school. I got to a point where I couldn't finish a full semester's worth of credits because my job was getting in the way. So it was blocking my advancement, and I came to the conclusion that I need to leave. So I devised a plan that I'll just have them fire me so that I can collect unemployment, because I needed to go to school full time so that I could finish these last few credits and get out of there. Right. So I missed all my sales goals for like 3 months straight.
Maybe
it was 4 months.
Well, I said more. It was more.
Yeah, but they liked me. Like, I literally gave sales away, so it wasn't like, oh, he didn't make it. No, I was literally like, here, Lion, here, Cordell. I literally gave sales away, and when it came time where they're like, hey, if you miss another one, you're gone, and that happened, they were like, we're going to give you another chance. And I came in the next day and I quit. so it didn't work out.
It happened for like 2 months in a row. So Mr. E devised his plans.
So
like,
much
he goes
Into
like,
getting
this one I'm
fired,
going to
and he
do.
couldn't pull it off.
And they're going to just let me go. I'm going to be good.
You suck
And
at
then he
getting fired.
goes.
Yeah.
So
I guess,
much effort.
They bring it to the office.
too nice. I guess that's what it was. It was too nice. But
He was well liked. Like,
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna just, the first time they forgive you, like, we'll give you 1 more month.
Mm-hmm.
The second time they go like, we're gonna wipe everything out.
So it is what it is. But getting back to your comment about quiet quitting, especially after the pandemic, I think a lot of people were disillusioned by the whole thought process or ideal of working, because like you said, America is a huge capitalistic society where it's, I need this paycheck to survive, and, I'll deal with the family and with whatever time that I have left. And when people had so much time with the family, if they like the family, because there's a lot of divorces and all this other stuff, and people getting beat up and whatever because they couldn't stay in the same house with each other. But if everything went well, they're like, hey, I want to do this more. I don't need to work it as much.
I think that's a good a good way to put it. That because initially when I heard the term, I thought it was ridiculous, and then I, because I'm being a little bit of an academic and a nerd about things, I read about it and studied up on it, and I think it actually has less to do with like, I'm always suspect of like the mediocrity we have going on in society now. Like everybody wants to get a fourth place participation medal and a trophy for showing up, and that's not the way.
That's another episode.
Yeah, that's another episode. But that's not the way the world really works. You can create that little microcosm, but when you go up against the big dogs don't care.
They're going to annihilate you.
That's right. That's what's going to happen. So at first I thought maybe it's because people are just they don't think they should have to work as hard. Their standard for what is acceptable, because we all know owning businesses or dealing a bit. That people are just not showing up, and that's why you couldn't get fired, because you were good enough trying to get fired. You were still better than like 80% of the workforce.
Exactly.
And that's why you couldn't get fired.
When you have these different jobs, and we've been there, and there's been they keep on moving the goalpost.
Yep.
Or changing the rules. Sound familiar? I know. There's thousands of you that sounds familiar too, especially for the one company.
Happened to us.
Yeah. So when they keep on doing that, what's the point? We had when we worked at the phone company, they decided, hey, we're going to have a 7 a.m. meeting, and with employees that are like 20 some odd year olds.
Friday morning meetings. Why?
Yeah, college night is Thursday night. We going out, and then we got to show up to this thing on Sunday and listen to your new rules for this week, which should change next week. So why am I listening to you this week if I only have to act like I'm following for 1 week until they change next week? I'm just not going to follow them.
I know that the meeting only had information that could have been summarized in an email. I know this is going to resonate with a lot of people. A lot of these meetings were very pointless. It's like being there at 7 a.m. I think it was more about control or getting us into some kind of mindset, because there was no point.
And it's taking your time. We weren't doing 40 hours. We were doing more than 40 hours because we had to add on that meeting. It was before the stores opened up. It was we had to wake up early. We had to go to bed earlier or whatever. When we were younger, it's like what's the point?
My master's degree is in management. I did a master's degree in management just to complement my leadership skills as an officer in the military. Mm-hmm. But like, there's a big difference personally, and some people say semantics, but there's a big difference between management and leadership. You know what I mean? And there's also something you could teach some of it, and some of it's like an aptitude and inherently who you are. Mm-hmm. So like, what you're talking about is just crap leaders.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And if you lead people, if you're a good leader to your people, they will follow you to the ends of the earth. And I've seen it in combat where people will follow you into a firefight, into the storm, because they believe in your leadership.
That's right.
You can't manage somebody on the battlefield. You better lead them. And what you're talking about is just crappy management, crappy leadership, and so, and unfortunately, a climate that's allowing that to exist, because someone in there should go, no, that doesn't make any sense, because most people, I'm not going to bring it all this, but like morale, most people aren't motivated. People are motivated by
different things.
More people are motivated by a sense of accomplishment and appreciation by their employer than they are money.
Exactly.
100% of the time. 100% of the time. So a person will work for less money for a great leader for a cause they believe in than for a bunch of money for So it's just really bad, and it upsets me when people don't recognize the value of good leadership. And the most valuable resource we have on the planet as a business are our people. And if you think like that and you run your business like that, your climate is established based on those guidelines, then you'll be fine. But when you're doing stuff like that, you have 20-year-olds coming in at 7 a.m. for no reason for a meeting that, first off, it sounds like it's not economically feasible, because you're wasting
time. Productive hours.
That's right.
But getting to the point, certain type of managers that like you said, that lead, make it worth the extra effort, right? And make it worth the sacrifice, because you're going to spend extra time at the job and sacrifice that time with your family, but at least you'll come home in a good mood, and it won't affect your family, right? But when you're in these crappy situations, doing extra hours or whatever, you're like, what is the point? Because I always like to boil things down to what I call the essence, which is before capitalism, like before people were chasing money or things of value. What would you do? What is important to you? Family, doing things that you love. Those are the things that are important to me. Those are the things that you need to follow.
With that said, Kayla, let me ask you, because you do a lot. We established that you do quite a bit, and you can get everybody taken care of in one package, right? How do you place certain boundaries to divide your work, your hustle, and your personal life?
I think you have to, like you said, you cannot get lost in it. Like I was saying earlier, that the decision that I took was not only me being able to do my passion as well, but also bringing me in more money, and that was one of the main things that I had to give up. Like, for example, just partying and all that stuff, and prioritize, right? But me trying to get in more money, I had a goal for that. I want to, everybody has a goal for that, for getting it more. So, but having my own time, it's super important.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, like he said, like meditation. Me, it's just whenever I am done with all my commitments and all that stuff, my time in my house, that's religious for me. I do set some boundaries whenever I just feel like I'm burnt out and I can't anymore. Even if I have the time, because sometimes I do have the time, but I feel so overwhelmed with everything, I'm like, nope, I can't do this. I'm going to go to the beach that day. I need my therapy. I need to see the sunset. I don't know. But whenever I feel super, like I have too many things and something else pops in, and I actually have the time to do it, but for me to keep my sanity, no, I can't. Just because that's going to be me time.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, you could say, you could not tell us on the show if you don't want to, but you're still young. So how old are you right now?
33.
Okay, so you look younger than 33. Keep up the good work, right? But I would say this, and as a compliment to you, that it is good what you just said, because that is one of the things, even though I have a ton of energy, something that E brought up, and I always kind of look at it different. I always talk about this cost-benefit analysis. Like anything I'm doing, whether I'm going to buy a car, whether I'm going to do a video podcast, whether I'm going to have, we're going to have Kayla as a guest. Like everything I do in my life, I go, what's the benefit versus what's the cost? You know what I mean? And so that's kind of important, because that is how I make decisions about everything that I'm doing. But to be your age, something you said is really kind of insightful, because I don't know that at your age, and maybe it was around then, that I decided, because I am a type A plus personality, when to take something off my list and be okay with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we told the spa story a few times, but I was like, on E's bachelor getaway when we went to the spa, and they thought we were a couple, and they tried to book us in the same room. But
What?
Yeah.
They tried to
Story
put
for another day.
Yeah, story, but it was funny though. Both of our expressions.
Help.
Yeah, it was like what? He was like, I don't do this a lot, but I don't know if it's supposed to be like. I'm like, it's not. We're not a couple. Give us separate rooms, separate massage. But that's another thing. Like I love the spa. Like my sister will say, I shop like a chick and I spa like a chick, and I whatever another friend. That's okay. I can live with that. But something I do with my wife, and even obviously my friends. A spa getaway is great for me. Go. It's a zen place. It smells like eucalyptus.
Yeah,
They're like
it's
whirlpools. Somebody's giving you a nice massage, and you can let all that stuff go.
Yep.
But it took me some time to figure out what I needed to balance out my life. But what you said, like I said again, is, and I would challenge everybody to be able to examine that. How realistic are your expectations in your work-life balance, and when do you get to the point where you have to figure out something's got to go or something's not going to get done? You triage that and say, I can't do this for my own well-being. I'm going to take a personal health day, or I'm just not going to do this, and I'm just going to go to the beach, like you said, or I'm going to go to the spa.
Or just visit your family. Like, I don't have, my family is in Puerto Rico. I don't have family here. I do have, like,
Well,
in
now
Orlando.
you do.
Thank
now
you.
You're part of Playbook Family.
Thank
the
you.
Playbook baby.
Playbook Family. That's
Yeah.
right.
But what I mean is, like, in Tampa, my family, if I have uncles, but it's in Orlando. It's like 2 hours away. So that for me, just being able to go, even if I have to drive 2 hours, but that's time that I need. Like my family from here, it's 2 hours away. I'm gonna take the time to go ahead and see them, because it's gonna be good for me, And sometimes you're too involved on working, on getting your money, on doing your passion and everything, that you forget about yourself and your family, which is what you were saying too.
Yeah.
So
Now, we had a great conversation tonight so far, but I want Doug, because Doug's done it all, and he's done quite a bit. Every time I talk to Doug, I learn something new that he's done. Like today, I learned he was a teacher, a professor, or something like.
I try not to tell a lot of stories, because like if people didn't know me, they'd say he's making that up. He didn't really do that, but like.
Yeah, he did it.
I've just been trying to maximize life, man, and thankful for every day I'm blessed with, and live it to the fullest.
Give us 3 things as an advice that the people should take home with them, on managing work life?
That's a good question. Okay, so first off, I would definitely say that you have to recognize and be realistic about what work-life balance means to you. Because if you don't like define it for yourself, it's kind of like it came up a couple times in discussion about like the finish line moving. It's the same for you. You have to like realize what for you defines a work-life balance that you can live with. That's going to be able to be okay. And granted, that's going to depend on where you are in your career, what you're doing. Like my wife is a physician. Residents are working 80 or 90 hours a week. That's what you have to do to be a doctor. There's no way around that, you know. But when you get for her at that point in her career is going to be different than for her now as a physician. And we own an anesthesia company and things like that. So she's able to manage. She doesn't take call anymore. She's not doing it, you know, any of that stuff. But like she had to get to that point in her career. So that's why I talk about the grind. So one, like I said, to be able to effectively define what a work-life balance is for you at whatever point you are in your life, you know. So I would say that's first and most important. Two, you have to consider your health, your mental and your physical and your spiritual, if you believe in God or whatever, like I do, health and wellness, because that's also important. So yeah, to be realistic about what the balance means to you, to have to take in consideration your health and your well-being, and then I think if you have the luxury, if we're blessed and fortunate enough to be able to do that, to find something where your ability to make a living and your passions align. And if you could do that, you know, like they said, if you love what you do when you go to work, you feel like you never worked a day of your life, or the saying goes.
That's right.
Like that. So yeah.
Wow, so we had a great conversation. I want to thank Kayla so much. Taking the time. You guys heard it. She does a lot. She took the time to be here with us, so we are very grateful you came through.
Thank you,
I
guys.
hope you enjoyed. Hope you come back another time to have some more fun with us here. But guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your
Bang
friends.
that like button.
Just bang the like button. You know, somewhere
Bang,
there,
bang,
right? But Mr.
Sound
E,
like Pops.
go ahead and do us the favor and take us home.
Hey, thanks for joining us on the Playbook. Catch us next time. And while you're at it, check out the library. We got a whole bunch of other videos. But until the next time, we'll catch you later. This is the Playbook.